Hello and welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I'm your host, Gabe Peterson, and this is the place investors go to gain actionable advice, learn about current market trends, and hear war stories from other professional investors out there in the field today. Before we get started, I have two quick housekeeping items for you. First, if you like this episode, we would very much appreciate a like, subscribe, and share. It is the best way to support the show and keep it running far into the future. Second, if you're a new investor looking to get started in real estate or an experienced investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you that will cover how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance those deals with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. On top of that, I throw in an insane amount of free bonuses that you'll have access to once you buy the ebook. All I charge is our admin costs to keep this show running. So if you're serious about real estate investing and want to create both active and passive income as an investor, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com and click on the button that says get the ebook in the upper right-hand corner to grab yourself a copy. With that said, let's dive right in. Today we have a very special guest with us, ready to drop some investor knowledge on you. So buckle up, grab your pen and paper, and enjoy the ride. All right, we are back with another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. Today we have Kevin Gardner with us. Kevin is the founder of Multifamily Utility Solutions, and he is here to talk about how to increase your NOI with utilities, which is awesome because it's something that not a lot of people think about. And I think this will be really good for both people who own multifamily properties as well as are underwriting multifamily properties. So Kevin, thank you very much for hopping on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Gabe. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. I was telling you before we got on the show, we always start with stories. And so why don't you take us back through your story? How did you get started down the path you're on today?
Yeah, well, it's funny. When I left college without finishing and I needed to get a job. And so I applied for a couple different positions, and one was selling cable TV door to door, and the other was selling replacement windows. And as luck would have it, I decided to sell cable TV door to door, and I had a long career with Comcast, so I got to know the telecommunications industry. I ultimately was a vice president of sales and marketing, and part of that role, we oversaw dealing with multifamily properties and, negotiating the contracts. So when I left and started my own company, our first two clients were Comcast and Charter. And we acted as a third party to help them negotiate contracts with multifamily property owners. Ultimately, they took that, that piece of the business in-house. They wanted employees to do it. And so we're sitting at the negotiating table already anyhow. So we're like, well, we could just easily slide the chair to the other side. And thus we decided to go ahead and represent multifamily property owners and make sure that they were getting a fair shake at the table.
All right. I love it. So you had a long career in telecom itself, starting from college, it sounds like, which is great. Cable
exactly.
TV sounds more exciting than Windows. So I think you made the right choice there.
Well, and that's how it was. And they said, you get free cable TV as part of being in, and I was like, done.
As a college kid, sold. Let's do it.
That's what we're going to do, So yeah, the rest is history. So, it was definitely, in hindsight, the right decision to make.
Very cool. So, I mean, you never, especially, going into underwriting multifamily, I never consider the contract for the utility or for the cable company. That's not something that usually sticks in my mind in underwriting. And so thinking of it as an opportunity to actually increase your NOI is not really a mind frame that I've ever taken. So this is a new paradigm for me. So what can you kind of take me through? What is it generally that you see? Let's just say I'm Joe Schmo. This is my first multifamily. Let's just say it's 100 units. Never done this before. There's a cable company. Obviously, we want cable for our residents. What is it that I use? What are the big mistakes that I usually make?
Well, first of all, you are like the normal person. nobody really thinks about this, right? Because you're looking at multi-million-dollar properties, and here this is kind of, in the overall scheme of things, much less. But if you think about it, if you can increase the NOI even by a little bit, $1 a unit a month or something like that, and then you go to refinance, the refinance value it can be significant. So but a lot of people,
if you're talking about the bigger units, I mean, every little dollar, especially when you're reselling to these big REITs, at low cap rates, those dollars, they really add up. I mean, if you're selling at a 5 cap, every dollar you add to the NOI really, really increases your sales price. So, I mean, even if it's $1 a door, that can add up over time.
Yeah, exactly. And but a lot of people overlook this. And the other thing I'll tell you is, you may find this surprising, but most people in due diligence, there's oftentimes the cable contract doesn't show up, and it's not through any ill intent by the party that's disclosing this stuff. It's that maybe the original contract was signed years ago, and that property's been sold multiple times, and so this owner didn't sign that contract, or maybe the cable company has been sold multiple times, and so it's just lost, or in a file drawer someplace, from 20 years ago. So it's a real opportunity. And so I encourage people, even going through your due diligence, if there's no cable contract, let us look into it for you, because there may be one that's just not part of that due diligence. So yeah, I mean, it really comes down to, you have an asset there. You have residents that the cable company wants to serve, and they can't serve those residents without your permission, because it's your property. So, let's just say you live in Cleveland, Ohio, and you are a resident, you've got a home there, and Spectrum's the cable provider, and I, as the resident of my single family home, want Spectrum service. I have the right to tell them, yeah, you can be on my property, and I sign up for your service. Well, take that to the multifamily world, and it's different, because in essence, if I'm the resident of one of your properties, I don't have the right to tell them, yes, you can be on my property. And the franchise agreement they get with the city of Cleveland only gives them the right to the public easements, not the personal property of anybody. So you're kind of the gatekeeper there, right? Yep. So they have to do not only an agreement with me to sign and say, yes, I'm going to pay, and these are the services I want, but also with you to allow them to be on your property.
That makes sense.
That's why a lot of people don't realize it. This is when I tell people about this, that the most common response I get is, well, I don't need a contract because I don't pay for the cable service for my residents.
Yeah. Yep. That would be a mindset that I would kind of go into.
Right. Now, there is that option where you can pay for the service for your residents and then either mark it up, or there's a different option there. That's called a bulk agreement. What we're talking about here is a non-bulk agreement where you're not paying anything. You're just giving them the permission to be on your property. And so we have the ability to get you paid for the right that you're giving them to be on your property.
Interesting. Okay. So I guess I was thinking more along the lines of the bulk agreement, and you're talking about, so you have, 100 unit property, 80 of them are occupied. Each one of those are on their own agreement. And then you are creating a separate agreement with the cable company that just stipulates, I give you access to this property. I'm allowing you to provide your services to this property.
Correct. Yeah. And now oftentimes you're giving them a little bit more than that. In many cases, you're giving them not the exclusive right to serve, but the exclusive marketing rights. So when somebody new moves in, you're promoting just Spectrum and maybe not AT&T, even though AT&T may be available there. You're promoting just Spectrum as your preferred provider. And that's kind of where the trade-off comes in, which is actually good for you to do that, because one of the ways that we can get you compensated is what's called revenue share. So, and it's just like it sounds, they're sharing a percentage of the revenue. And so you want more people to take their service, because that means more revenue for you for that revenue share payment, which typically comes on a quarterly basis. And it's reflected on how much revenue they make from your property.
Interesting. Okay. So you negotiate with the cable company and you say, we would like to have you guys as the preferred provider at our property. We would like a percentage of the profits or gross revenue, whatever it is that you guys make every quarter. And I'm sure it's a smaller percentage. What is 100 doors? What can an owner expect in terms of additional NOI coming or gross revenue coming to them?
Gabe, you've just asked my least favorite question I'm ever asked, because as soon as I throw out a number, somebody writes it down, right? And I'm going to be honest with you, it's a range. It's just like, what's the value of 100 units here versus 100 units there? Right. Well, there's a lot of variables that go into it, right? Mm-hmm. What's the occupancy? How much, how much deferred, renovations am I going to have to do? What deferred maintenance? Where is it? What's the class? Is it A? Is it D? So all those things factor in. I mean, we've seen everything from on a revenue share basis from virtually nothing because it's, maybe a D class property that has low occupancy, to, as much as maybe $3 a month per door.
Wow.
For an A class with full occupancy. So there's a significant range there because of those factors. The same way you look at a property when you're going to buy it, we have to take all those same things into consideration when we're negotiating on your behalf and understand those things. Because you got to look at it this way too, because there's in addition to revenue share, there's another way that we can get you compensated, which is called a door fee, which is a one-time payment, almost like a signing bonus when you sign the new agreement. So you can oftentimes get one of those two or both in a hybrid model, which seems to be the one that we get most often, because the door fee is basically they're paying you for what they've got in that property right now. See, the cable companies don't just give you money just because they're nice people, right? Mm-hmm. Right. They're going to look at it. What's our ROI? So they're going to look at each property separately. And you said 100 units. Well, if they've got 80 customers out of there, they're going to give you more than if they've got 20 customers out of there. Right. So they factor all those things in. And that's why we have to be aware of those things. And that's why we do. I mean, the first things we do is learn about what are your goals too, right? So I've got one owner who is buy and hold. They don't care about the upfront door fee. They want revenue share because they're going to buy, they're going to hold, and they just want that recurring revenue to keep coming in. I've got others who are more buy and flip, right? They want the money up front so they can take that money that they get, invest it back into the property, upgrade the property, and then be ready to flip it. So a lot of what we do is learn about your business goals, because everybody's a little bit different. And what markets are you focused on, and things like that. Obviously, the more units you have with one cable company, the more leverage. The more you have in a single market, the more leverage. And let's face it, right? It's negotiation. It's all about leverage. And so that's what we need to determine is what leverage do you have, but also what leverage can we help you get? And we've been successful in creating these kind of alliances where we get multiple owners from the same market dealing with the same cable company, and we represent them together. We've done that huge success in Texas, for example. We started with a client that had 74 units, and really the offer that they got was insignificant. And then we went back and we networked and we pulled together 6 other owners, and we got close to 2,000 units, and the 74 was part of that 2,000. And we more than doubled the offer that they had been given because we gained leverage for that 74 unit property by pooling it with other properties.
Yep, that makes sense. And I noticed, in your in the bio that you had sent over, you actually mentioned, and I didn't say this when we started this episode, but
You mentioned that you also do this to electric and gas utilities, and that's something that I've never heard of that. Go into that. How do you negotiate? What do you negotiate for when it comes to electric and gas? Because
Well,
usually, I'll let you talk.
all right. So let me first of all say that cable and internet is our lifeblood. We do 90% of our business there because it's available across the country. Electric and gas is more, it depends on, so certain states and certain markets are deregulated. And in a deregulated market, you have the opportunity to bid those rates and sign with other providers. In other markets, it's regulated by the state, and therefore there's only one option, and there's nothing we can do about that. I mean, certainly we know people that can audit the bills and make sure that you're not paying for something you shouldn't be paying for, and things like that. But the opportunities there aren't as great as if you're in a deregulated market. It's also about, again, leverage, usage. How much are you using? So if you are paying for the electric and gas in a deregulated market for your units, which isn't all that common, but it does happen, then you've got leverage and through usage. Likewise, if you've got 12 units versus if you've got 1,200 units, your bills are going to be greater. So the opportunity to leverage that is greater and realize more savings. That
makes sense. So what are, I know Washington, we're in Washington State. I know we're definitely a regulated market. Can you give examples of some markets that are deregulated?
Mostly mid-Atlantic, New England, and Midwest are where it's more prevalent. I live in Ohio. Ohio is a deregulated market in most places for both electric and gas. Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Massachusetts, Connecticut. A lot of those are more the deregulated.
Gotcha.
You do a lot of business in Tennessee. Tennessee's not at all. You get the Tennessee Valley Authority. It's all regulated. There's nothing we can do. So it's more of a niche thing. But we are always willing to look into it for somebody, because I've got a broker who specializes in that, and they can do a free estimate, and just by looking at the current utility bills. Right. So it doesn't hurt and that's what we try and do. So everything we do, we only make money if we make or save you money.
Yep.
So we don't charge a retainer, we don't charge hourly, we don't do anything like that. We make money a percentage of what we make you, because we want it to be a win-win situation. And that way you've got nothing to lose by engaging with us.
Yep. That is good business right there. And you didn't mention any of the states that I own properties in, which is really a bummer, but I'm about to buy property out in Texas and Oklahoma. Are either of those deregulated?
Texas does have an opportunity. Oklahoma does not.
All right. 1 out of 2. That's not bad.
But Oklahoma, we could do cable.
There you go. I just took a peek down at the clock. It looks like we already went through our allotted time. So I got to push you into the quick question round. And I'm actually, I'm jumping the gun here because I didn't tell you about the quick question round before we got on the episode. So this is, you're not going to have a problem. I think you can handle it. But we just go through some quick questions to get your take on how to be successful as an investor. And it always starts with books. So what is 2 book recommendations that you could give us, one for just general life wisdom, and then one for real estate specific?
Man, I'm a voracious reader, and I hate that you've only given me one. I'm going to go with Never Split the Difference. It's about negotiations. It's written by a guy named Chris Voss, who's an ex FBI hostage negotiator, and I think it's a great book.
Never Split the Difference. I've heard of that. People have recommended it. I haven't read it myself, but I'm gonna have to pick it up because you're not the first person to say that one. Yep.
Yeah.
How about for general life wisdom?
General life wisdom. Lately I've been reading these books by Don Miguel Ruiz. The 4 Agreements, the Mastery of Self. Things like that, because they're quick, short, easy reads. And I really kind of got somebody hooked me into those, and I've kind of bought the whole series and been reading all those. So
Yep.
I enjoy those.
Those are really good books. I like the four agreements a lot.
Yeah, it's great advice, no matter what you're doing, just for life.
All right, moving on. Next question. This one is for your younger self. So if you could go back to the Kevin who was just getting out of college, deciding between Windows and cable TV, and go back to that Kevin, look him in the eye, give him one piece of advice moving forward.
Go harder.
All right.
Just go harder. Don't assume that something's going to happen until it does.
I like it. I like that second piece, especially. Don't assume something is going to happen until it does, because your mind is always oriented towards worst case scenarios. And generally the worst case does not occur. So just keep going forward. That is great advice to give people. Don't assume something until it actually happens.
I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You get 2 things or 3 things that hit instead of just one that doesn't.
Yep. I love it. All right. Next question. This one is about habits. Habits are the foundation of our life. So if you could point to one thing you do day in and day out that you feel contributes the most to your overall health, well-being, and success, what would that be?
Reading.
I like it.
Yep.
So you're the first
one of
one
my
to actually
goals
say
is
reading. So surprisingly, I'm a big proponent of reading. But how do you structure your reading? How much do you read per day? Do you have a time that you usually do it, or do you just do it, when the mood arises?
well, every night I put together my schedule for the next day and my to-do list. And on my to-do list always gets done. It's just like, these are the things I have to do. And there's a couple of things that are critical, and read is at the top of the list.
I love it.
I'm not done with the day until I read, even if it's just grab a book and read a couple of pages. I gotta read something.
Yep. It's whenever somebody talks about the importance of reading, the funny thing is a scene from Game of Thrones actually pops into my mind where Peter Dinklage's character, somebody's saying, why do you read so much? And he's saying, you sharpen your sword, you practice with the sword. What I do, I'm a man of the mind. I read, and reading sharpens the mind. It gets you prepared to go out there and engage in conversation. So great habit. Love that. Moving on to the next question. And this one is for the listeners and watchers. You've given us a lot of good advice, so I'm sure people want to reach out and figure out how they can take advantage of, saving or increasing their NOI through utilities. So what is a good good contact for people to reach out to you at?
Okay. My email address is kevin@multifamilyutilitysolutions.com. And that's our website, multifamilyutilitysolutions.com. So there's more information on there. My phone number is 248-930-4768.
All right. Multifamilysolutions.com. I will put
Utilities. Multifamilyutilitysolutions.com.
Multifamily. I almost said it wrong. That would have been bad.
Well, it's long, but it's accurate.
Yep. Multifamily Utility Solutions. That's utility, not utilities. Multifamilyutilitysolutions.com. I will put that in the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out to Kevin, click the little more in the description. It'll pop down the full description in there. You can click through the link and say hi. So Kevin,
Awesome.
Thank you very much for hopping on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, likewise, Gabe. I very much enjoyed it.
Absolutely. And for everybody who's here with us today, thank you guys for showing up. You are the reason we do this. So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, reach out to me, Gabe at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Real Estate Investing Club. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode as much as I enjoyed putting it on, and we're able to pull some actionable advice that you can apply in your own investing today in the field. Before you go, we have a gift for you. If you're a new investor looking to get started, or an established investor looking to take your investing to the next level, I've created an ebook just for you, available on our website. This ebook will cover how I was able to create both active and passive income in real estate with very little money to start with. In it, I will address the 3 most often cited obstacles new and veteran investors run into by showing you how to find deals that are actually deals, how to finance a deal with little to no money down, and how to exit those deals for maximum value. And if you get the ebook today, I am throwing in a bundle of bonuses, 7 of them to be exact. The first one will be the off-market lead generation blueprint, which will take you through the exact systems and processes we use to generate off-market leads like clockwork, which is the most important skill when it comes to creating wealth in real estate. The second bonus is the A to Z REI systems and vendors guide, which will allow you to peek under the hood of our business and see the exact tools, systems, and even the vendors we use to see the success that we do. And the third bonus is the top 100 best performing keywords pack, which will give you the exact keywords we use to target motivated sellers online using PPC ads. The fourth bonus is our contracts bundle for wholesaling and renting real estate, which will give you access to all the contracts we use in the field to execute all different types of transactions. After that is the Investors Quick Analysis Calculator and Offer Tool, which will allow you to quickly calculate whether a deal is an actual deal and will allow you to create an offer automatically from those calculations. This is a lot of bonuses that I said. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Number 6 is the Investors Daily Success Tracker, which is a tracker you can use to ensure you are taking the right actions day in and day out to reach your financial goals in real estate. And the last bonus is the Wholesalers Template for Quick Assignment Cash, which will give you the templates we use to present our wholesale deals professionally and efficiently to our buyers. Whew, that is a bundle. So it's a mouthful. You get all of those bonuses for free when you download the ebook. All we charge is the admin cost to run the show. So if you're interested in the ebook and the bonus bundle, head on over to the website at therealestateinvestingclub.com. Click on Get the Ebook Bundle at the top of the page to take advantage of that deal. And with that said, I hope you have a fantastic day, an even better week. Keep rocking real estate, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.